Yeah, the recording has been started, so you can write your roll numbers in the chat box so that I can keep a record of the things which are being saved on a Google Drive. Right, so I hope the screen is visible. Can someone respond? I'm not able to see
Yes,
the
sir.
chat box. Okay. Right, so I think this is our fourth lecture, and we have been discussing about the introductory part of Internet of Things. And I told you the recommended book for this particular unit is Internet of Things by Raj Kamal. So whenever you visit our campus, try to get this book from the library, Internet of Things by Raj Kamal. So I expect everyone should note this. If you are ready with the notebook and pen, you can note down the book name, Internet of Things by Raj Kamal. Right. So first and second unit, you will have to refer from this book only, and rest of the units, I'll tell you where you will find those contents, where you will find those resources. Right. Basically, this third unit deals with Cortex M3 processor. So for that, you need to refer the datasheet of ARM Cortex M3 processor. I'll share the PDF file with you so that you can access it. Uh, in last lecture, we have seen these are the contents of first unit. So if you want to note down this syllabus, it will be better because at last you should know what things are there in the first unit. So it includes introduction to IoT. We have discussed about it. Today we will discuss the different components of an IoT system, in which we will talk about embedded system, sensors, communication system, and cloud. And at last, we will talk about different applications in different domains so that we will understand the scope of IoT. Right. So this unit particularly requires 4 to 5 lectures. Right. So this is actually a very small unit, and most of this is based on theoretical concepts. So I hope you know better how to answer some theoretical questions. If some offline exams are being scheduled, then you will have to be ready with the theoretical concepts as well. So this is what about IoT I have talked in last lecture. Some examples were given. This is a kind of street light in the city, or you can compare this one with the traffic signaling. Two examples I have given last time. One of that is umbrella. The second one is of traffic signal. So any example you can mention. The question in the exam may be like this: describe IoT, or write a note on IoT. So in that case, you will have to write the definition of IoT. You will have to explain what is the meaning of IoT. Then you can proceed to explain some of the examples in which you can explain umbrella. You can explain this. Traffic light, traffic signals. Then you can explain anything that you know about IoT, any example that you know from the IoT domain, right? So this one is the reference architecture, which is very similar to the OSI reference model. And I told you the need of this referenced or layered architecture. Uh, they just describe the protocols which are being used for communication. So can someone tell me what is protocol as far as networking or communication systems are concerned? What is meaning of protocol? Can someone respond? I'm not able to see the chat box. So please, someone, if you know the answer.
Sir,
Uh,
according to me, it is a set of
yes.
rules.
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. Protocol is nothing but a set of rules defined for a particular communication system. Protocol means a set of rules defined to encourage the communication. For example, I'm talking to you in Marathi, right? And if you want to receive whatever information I'm broadcasting, you should be able to know the Marathi, राईट. सो थोडक्यात काय झालं की हा हा प्रोटोकॉल काय झाला. जर आपल्या मध्ये संभाषण किंवा कम्युनिकेशन व्हायचं असेल तर दोन्ही म्हणजेच ट्रान्समीटर आणि रिसिव्हरला मराठी येत असणं हे गरजेचं आहे. अँड दॅट इज द रूल टू एस्टॅब्लिश द कम्युनिकेशन, राईट. दिस इज द प्रोटोकॉल. आपल्या कम्युनिकेशन मध्ये मग काय असणार आहे प्रोटोकॉल. The speaker should know the Marathi as well as the receiver should understand the Marathi. So this is the protocol. If you want to establish the communication in Marathi, both the ends should be aware of Marathi language, right? So this is how the protocol works at communication part. So if you want to establish a communication between two devices, there have to have some layered architecture, which one of them is described by Cisco. So most of the time, so in fact, लास्ट टू एक्झामिनेशन्स म्हणजे दोनच एक्झाम झाल्या आयओटी वरती ऑफलाईन एक्झाम्स, त्याच्यामध्ये हा क्वेश्चन होता दोन्ही एक्झाम मध्ये की व्हॉट इज द रेफरन्स मॉडेल सजेस्टेड बाय सिस्को फॉर आयओटी, right? So very similar to your OSI reference model, we have those seven layer levels. And last time I briefed you about the functionality associated with those seven levels. So those seven layers helps to the devices which are being involved in the IoT to communicate with each other, right? So then I talked about this IoT conceptual framework, right? So as far as this framework is concerned, there are different definitions uh, as as per the application areas. जसं मी एक एक्झाम्पल सांगितलं होतं umbrellas, right? In that umbrella, if you talk about IoT, it's just nothing but a physical object. That means umbrella plus controller, sensor, actuator, or any embedded platform, right? So you can involve all the hardware part of it into this plus internet connectivity. So this together forms IoT. This is for umbrella, right? But this, as far as data centers or enterprises are concerned, the IoT meaning is different, and it means gathering of data, enriching, streaming, managing, acquiring, organizing the data is nothing but IoT. And for cloud services, IoT means gathering of data, consolidation, then connectivity, collection of data, assembling, then managing the data is nothing but IoT. So these three different frameworks we have seen in last lectures. Uh, we talked about the control unit, right? So as far as control units of any system is concerned, it will have uh, two basic parts, either of this processor or microcontroller, right? So if you define this microprocessor can just process a data because it is having a processor, it is having a CPU. So processor and controller, there is a difference, right? So the difference is not much clear, but still we can easily identify which device is a processor, which device is a controller. So now may I ask what is that difference? How you will be able to identify the different? How will you able to identify microprocessor and controller? What are the distinguishing points between processor and controller? If you know the answer, you can unmute. What is the difference between processor and controller? What is the difference between processor and controller?
Sir, microcontroller has all devices on it, means on that board, CPU,
Okay,
RAM, ROM, etc. things. And
okay.
microprocessor we have to externally connect it.
Yes, correct. So when you talk about micro, let me technically give you the definition of microprocessor and microcontroller. Right. So this can be a lifelong learning for you to understand the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. Uh, Microprocessor, if you split the word micro and processor, right? Now, processor means what? It process data, right? So to process the data, what is required thing? It's just an ALU, arithmetic logical unit. So this processor will have only ALU. Of course, that depends upon the device and model. Processor will have ALU. And why do we call it as a micro? Can anyone guess why we call it as a micro? Okay, so let me tell you why we call it as a micro. Because it performs operations, it processes the data in microseconds, right? That's why we call it as a micro, and the whole term is microprocessor, right? So the technical definition I can say here, microprocessor means a device that process the data in microseconds. Microprocessor is a device that process the data in microseconds, right? So this is the microprocessor. On the other hand, what is microcontroller? Of course, the device will control the data. Now, if you want to control the data, before that you should process the data. म्हणजेच काय मायक्रोप्रोसेसर फक्त प्रोसेस करणार, मायक्रो कंट्रोलर काय करणार, it will control, but before controlling you should have processing unit, right? So that's why microcontroller is processing as well as controlling the data, right? So technically how you can say microcontroller, it is a device that controls the data in a microseconds. Microprocessor process the data in a microsecond. On the other hand, microcontroller is a device that controls the data in a microseconds. I hope the difference is clear. Now, as far as peripherals or internal architecture is concerned, processor involves ALU, as I said. It will not have inbuilt RAM, ROM, or other peripherals such as IO device, uh, serial port, or let's say parallel port, ADC, DAC, etc. Right. So the thing is, when we talk about microcontroller, they provide some amount of RAM, ROM, ADC, DAC inbuilt with the microcontroller. म्हणजेच काय, जे काही मायक्रो प्रोसेसर सोबत आपण इंटरफेस करतो त्याला फंक्शनल बनवण्यासाठी, ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर इंटरफेस्ड विथ द processor, and togetherly it is called as a microcontroller, right? So microcontroller, if you see on the screen, you will find microcontroller as and the parts involved in the microcontroller are as microprocessor, then RAM is required to store the data, then ROM is required to store the program and instructions, then some firmwares or the software. Then we have some timer functionalities with the microcontroller, IO ports, so input output port. Then you can have serial interface, parallel interface, then PWM generation facilities available with the microcontroller so that you can control the speed of DC motor. Then you have ADC. On the other hand, you may have DAC as well, so as to convert the analog signal into digital signal and digital signal into analog signal. Then communication interface. So these are all components of microcontroller. Right. So this is what just now I talked about microcontroller. It will have processor, RAM, ROM, then timer, IO. Just a picture of the same thing. Now let us move on to the IoT architecture. Let me check the battery backup because there is a power cutoff. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So IoT architecture. So can someone tell me what is architecture? Architecture is just a design or a blueprint in which the system works, right? So as far as this diagram is concerned, थोडीशी दिसायला विचित्र आहे, but just it is handmade and I have taken a snapshot of it and put it on PPTs. I'll help you to understand this diagram. On the left hand side, you may see temperature, humidity, and all those physical environments, right? So I told you IoT is nothing but interconnection of devices or the collection of devices who are able to communicate over the internet, and this architecture represents the same concept here. Now let's say let's start from the left hand side. You will find temperature, humidity, and pressure. What are they? They are physical phenomena, right? And to have those physical phenomena, to sense those physical phenomena, we require different types of sensors, right? So we need different types of sensors, and just to excite the environment, we require the actuators, right? So whatever input we get from sensor, or whatever input we provide to the actuator, right? Both of them are connected with the central IoT gateway. Now here you can see the IoT gateway, or it is also called as the IoT framework. Now this IoT gateway or IoT framework is connected with the sensor through wireless media or wired media, right? And whatever readings that we are getting from sensor is being stored on this IoT gateway. Now, what is this IoT gateway? IoT gateway मध्ये काय काय असणार आहे? This IoT gateway consists of, right? So this is your IoT gateway, and this IoT gateway consists of hardware, or you can say embedded system. Now this embedded system may be it may be in any form, right? So it may be a microcontroller, it may be a microprocessor, it may be a Arduino, it may be Raspberry Pi, it may be Intel Galileo, Intel this may be BeagleBone. It can be anything. IoT gateway can be anything, right? So where we get the data accumulated, where we get the data collected from sensors. So all those data, physical parameters, are being stored on IoT gateway. Now I told you it's a form of controller, right? So data acquisition is carried out here. Data acquisition means what? Data processing and controlling happens here in the IoT gateway, right? Once we process the data, once we control the data, now we are able to send this data to the cloud server. Now the cloud server is another topic of discussion which will take maybe 2 to 3 hours, but let me tell you in short what is cloud. Cloud is a logical pool of data storage provided by some of the service providers like Amazon, right? AWS is the service cloud service provided by Amazon. So what does it mean? It's as I said, it's a logical pool of data storage. Means what? They are providing a space to store the data to the end customer. These service providers provides a space to store the data over the internet. Virtual data storage, you can consider it as. Now आपलं जे IoT गेटवे आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आणि क्लाउड सर्व्हर मध्ये यू मे हॅव वायरलेस लिंक और यू कॅन हॅव इथरनेट और वायर्ड लिंक to store the data on a cloud server. And after that, cloud server is connected with some host, or you can say some this data can be accessed remotely from even from mobile devices. So at the end of this process, you can see there is a mobile. आता याच्याच अनालॉगस एक एक्झाम्पल देतो मी, तुम्ही जस्ट ट्राय टू मेक दिस अनालॉजी. ज्यावेळी तुम्ही एखादा वेदर फोरकास्टिंग वेबसाईट उघडता, वेदर फोरकास्टिंग किंवा गुगल वरती सर्च करता की व्हॉट इज द वेदर ऑफ लेट्स से कोल्हापूर, और व्हॉट इज द वेदर ऑफ महाबळेश्वर. So what you get is, you get the temperature, you get the wind pressure, you get the humidity conditions, right? So how do you get that, right? So those geographical areas will have some weather forecasting control stations at those locations. म्हणजेच काय, ज्यावेळी तुम्ही गुगल वरती क्वेरी टाकता की व्हॉट इज द वेदर कंडिशन, टुडेज वेदर कंडिशन ऑफ महाबळेश्वर, होतं काय बॅक एंडला, होतंय काय बघा. नाव आय एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द मोबाईल फोन, आणि मोबाईल वरून तुम्ही गुगल सर्व्हरला क्वेरी टाकताय की व्हॉट इज द वेदर कंडिशन, राईट. मग आता महाबळेश्वरची वेदर कंडिशन बघायची असेल तर तुम्हाला स्वतः तिथं जावं लागेल. व्हॉट दिस IoT डज हिअर इज, जे काही तिथं वेदर स्टेशन्स असतात दे आर स्प्रेड ऑल ओव्हर द ग्लोब. तुम्ही कुठलंही वेदर कंडिशन केव्हाही बघू शकता, ठीक आहे. देर आर सम वेदर स्टेशन्स इवन ऍट महाबळेश्वरच्या वेदर स्टेशन मध्ये काय असणार आहे, टेम्परेचर सेन्सर्स असणार आहे. इट मे बी ऑफ एनी फॉर्म, इट मे बी दिस PT100, RTD, thermocouple, it can be anything. Humidity sensors असणार आहेत, hygrometers असणार आहेत. After that, there will be some pressure sensors, right? So barometric pressure sensors are usually used in such kind of measurements. Then this data is accumulated at the center and it is sent to IoT gateway, right? So the data is sent to IoT gateway. Now this data is being stored on a cloud server. तो डेटा इथं क्लाउड सर्व्हर वरती स्टोअर केलेला असतो, right? So the different geometric this environmental conditions are stored on a cloud server. So when you send the query from mobile to the Google immediately responds to your query because it's having already stored the weather forecasting, weather conditions which are already stored in this cloud server, right? So Google is immediately sending the response to the query that you have raised. तुम्ही जसे इकडून विचारता what is the temperature of let's say Aurangabad, what will happen? It will immediately respond. It will be around let's say 28-29 degrees centigrade, right? This is how the entire thing works because they have temperature sensors placed in Aurangabad, and the temperature is continuously monitored and stored on a Google this cloud server. As soon as you raise the query, Google server, or you may treat this as a data center. Data center will immediately respond to your query, right? I hope the picture is clear. I hope the concept is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubt with respect to this IoT architecture? Yes or no? If no, we can proceed further. Okay, so नो रिस्पॉन्स मीन्स आय थिंक देर आर टू सिच्युएशन्स, की तुम्हाला सगळं समजलंय किंवा तुम्हाला काहीच नाही समजलं. But still I can tell you this is very easy to understand. Entire subject is very easy to understand, but you should read maximum theory related with the IoT. If the exam is being conducted offline, you will have to write a complete 30 to whatever number of pages provided to you, right? I hope this is clear. Right, somebody mentioned, no doubt. Okay, so we can proceed further. Different components of IoT system, and I told you there are four basic components involved in this IoT. Now मी तुम्हाला एक इथं हायलाइट करून सांगू इच्छितो. तुम्ही एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम स्टडी केलेला आहे लास्ट सेमेस्टरला, अँड एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम इज वन ऑफ द कॉम्पोनंट ऑफ IoT. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे कुणी असं म्हणायची गरज नाहीये की IoT म्हणजेच एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम किंवा एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम म्हणजेच IoT. नो, IoTचा एक कॉम्पोनंट, 4 बेसिक कॉम्पोनंट्स आहेत, त्यातला एक कॉम्पोनंट म्हणजे एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम, राईट? So first component of IoT is embedded system. So embedded system that you know better than me. It's a combination of hardware and software designed to perform a specific task, right? So it is designed to have some dedicated tasks. So the picture describes here the complete embedded system overview. You can see the outer rectangle, which is considered as an embedded computer. Now this embedded computer will have the hardware, and on that hardware some software is burned, some software is saved, right? Some software is uploaded, right? So what sort of hardware it would have? I told you the hardware may have a processor, hardware may be a controller, right? The hardware may be your Arduino, it may be Raspberry Pi. So lot of names I can take here as far as this hardware is concerned. And on those hardware, whatever we program write, whatever programs we write here on that hardware is being considered as a software, right? So this forms a complete embedded system. On the left hand side, you can see input variable. So that may be a sensor input, right? So that may be a sensor input. म्हणजे जर ही embedded system एखादा physical environment read करत असेल, temperature, pressure, or it may be anything, right? So this requires an input variable. So the arrow is shown on the left hand side that takes the input variable, and on the right hand side you can observe the output variable. So this output variable, it simply means the device drivers. It simply means it's a actuator. If you are actuating some or if you are initiating some action against the input variable, you should require this output variable. म्हणजेच काय, मी एखादा टेम्परेचर कंट्रोल सिस्टीमचा जर वापर करत असेल तर मी टेम्परेचर हे इनपुट व्हेरिएबल म्हणून घेईन आणि आउटपुटला काय कनेक्ट करेन, एखादी कुलिंग सिस्टीम और लेट्स से फॅन. जर टेम्परेचर जास्त असेल तर तुमचा एम्बेडेड कम्प्युटर काय डिसाइड करेल, टू टर्न ऑन द फॅन. जर टेम्परेचर कमी असेल तर एम्बेडेड सिस्टीम काय डिसाइड करेल, टू टर्न ऑफ द फॅन, जस्ट टू सेव्ह सम एनर्जी. म्हणजे ज्यावेळी टेम्परेचर हाय असेल त्यावेळी फॅन ऑन होईल, टेम्परेचर लो झालं की फॅन ऑफ होईल. So this is a simple example of input variable and output variable working in embedded system. Now on the top, what you can see is user interface. What does this user interface mean? With the help of this user interface, you will be able to program this embedded computer. With the help of this user interface, you can write the programs on the embedded hardware. Right? So these are the rules, these are the usage of user interface. And at the bottom, what you can see is link to other system. आता suppose I'm having some sensor nodes. म्हणजे एक नोड माझा इथं let's say it's in a इसबावी, दुसरा नोड let's say in a KBP चौक. right? Third node, it may be in a Thakre Chowk, right? So all those systems, if I want to have a complete network, sensor network, those nodes should be able to communicate with each other. म्हणजेच काय, there have to have a facility with embedded computer to get interconnected with the other embedded computer. दुसऱ्या एका एम्बेडेड सिस्टीमला दुसऱ्या एम्बेडेड सिस्टीमशी कनेक्ट करण्यासाठी ही प्रोव्हिजन दिलेली आहे, जिथं की what you can say is linked to other systems through which this embedded system gets connected with similar or different embedded system. I hope the concept is clear. आता याच्यामध्ये इन्व्हॉल्व असणारे डिव्हाइसेस मी जसं की सांगितलं, इट मे बी एनिथिंग एम्बेडेड. तर कुठलाही डिव्हाइस, या हार्डवेअरसाठी तुम्ही कुठलाही डिव्हाइस वापरू शकता. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, Intel 8085 is a processor. Intel 8051 is a microcontroller. Microchip, PIC microcontrollers, right? So 16F877. So a huge range of data, huge range of devices available with different manufacturers. So you may use Arduino, you may use this LPC 2148, right? This is what you have seen in last semester. बरोबर है ना? What was the name of processor that you have learned in last semester? What is the name of device that you studied in last semester for embedded system?
LPC 2148.
Yes, LPC 2148. So you may use LPC 2148 or you may use Cortex M3 processor, which we are dealing with here in this semester, which names the device name is LPC 1768. LPC 1768 is the processor from microcontroller family. It is a processor from microcontroller family. आता इथं थोडंसं समजून घेण्याची गरज आहे. Just apart from this topic, let me tell you, LPC 1768 belongs to microcontroller family, but it is a processor. Now let me tell you what is this. What does it mean? ज्यावेळी आपण ARM असा शब्द ऐकला असेल तुम्ही, but here in this topic, in this subject, ARM means a lot, in which first capital letter A stands for application family. So whatever devices that comes in A family, they are application specific. I'll be talking on this in the second unit, but still I'll tell you the overview. Second word is R. R stands for real-time family. R stands for real-time family. And whatever applications need a real-time response, those devices will come in R family. म्हणजेच काय, let's say automotive braking system. व्हेकल मध्ये ऑटोमॅटिक ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम्स असतात, जसं की समोर सेन्सर्स लावलेले असतात. त्या सेन्सर्स मध्ये सपोज एखादा इम्पॅक्ट वगैरे डिटेक्ट होत असेल तर इमिजिएटली इकडून ब्रेक्स अप्लाय होतात विदाउट एनी ट्रिगर फ्रॉम ड्रायव्हर, राईट? सो दिस इज व्हॉट ऑटोमॅटिक ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम. बट आपल्याला इथं गरजेचं काय असतं, ऍज सुन ऍज यू डिटेक्ट द इंटरप्ट, इट शुड रिस्पॉन्ड without any delay. That is what we call it as a real time. मग जे डिव्हाइस फास्ट आहेत as far as operational speed is concerned, मग जे डिव्हाइसेस फास्ट आहेत त्यांना त्या आर फॅमिली मध्ये टाकलं गेलेलं आहे. आणि त्यानंतर शेवटचा वर्ड जो राहतो तो एम स्टँड्स फॉर मायक्रो कंट्रोलर. ठीक आहे, मायक्रो कंट्रोलरचा यूज कुठं होतो किंवा काय असतो मायक्रो कंट्रोलरचा यूज? लेट मी टेल यू. Microcontroller, they are small devices with minimum amount of RAM, ROM, and whatever necessary things are there. They are added into a processor. That is what microcontroller means. मग आता ही मायक्रोकंट्रोलर फॅमिली, याच्यात कुठले डिव्हाइस आले पाहिजेत? ज्या डिव्हाइसचा यूज हँडहेल्ड लो पॉवर डिव्हाइस मध्ये होणार आहे. फॉर एक्झाम्पल फॉर एक्झाम्पल जे आपले स्मार्ट वॉचेस आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये छोटं डिव्हाइस लागणार आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये स्वतःची मेमरी असावी लागणार आहे आणि जे लो पॉवर वरती ऑपरेट होतील. जर स्मार्ट वॉच मध्ये मायक्रो कंट्रोलरच्या ऐवजी मायक्रो प्रोसेसर वापरला तर त्याला सेपरेट रॅम कनेक्ट करावी लागेल, सेपरेट रॉम कनेक्ट करावी लागेल आणि त्याच बरोबर त्या रॅम रॉमला एक्साइट करण्यासाठी सेपरेट पॉवर सप्लाय दिला पाहिजे, राईट? सो just to avoid all those things, we have that means they have created this another family called as a microcontroller family, and the device that we are going to deal in this semester is belonging to that microcontroller family, right? So which will have some RAM and ROM inbuilt with the device. So if you take this device to program, you can directly program, you can find it directly to be installed in the application, right? So microcontroller will have some additional functionalities. So the thing is, LPC 1768 is the device that we are going to learn in this semester, and it belongs to M family of ARM. A stands for application, R stands for real time, M stands for microcontroller. I'll be telling you different meanings of this ARM, but for a while, just keep it in mind. A stands for application, R stands for real time, and M stands for microcontroller. So with this, let us proceed further. Second component of IoT is a sensor. Second component, this is second. First component is embedded system. Now this is the second component of IoT. Now in this second component, which is of course sensor. Now if I talk a little in detail with sensor, there are two broad categories. One is analog sensor and second one is digital sensor. So analog is the category of sensors which are able to sense the physical phenomena and converts into equivalent or electrical signals of analog form. Right? So if you observe the output of analog sensors, you will find it's analog in nature. But here the thing is, we cannot provide this analog signal directly to the embedded system. आपली कुठलीच डिजिटल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिस्टीम अनालॉग सिग्नल्सला रिस्पॉन्ड करत नाही. So basic minimum criteria is to provide or is to convert that signal into a digital signal. म्हणजे अनालॉग सिग्नल जे अनालॉग सेन्सर कडून जे अनालॉग सिग्नल्स येतात त्याला आपल्याला पहिल्यांदा डिजिटल फॉर्म मध्ये कन्वर्ट केलं पाहिजे. So here we need the analog to digital converter. But before that, there are many blocks involved, such as signal conditioner. There may be a Wheatstone bridge. There may be an instrumentation amplifier to amplify the signal, because the sensor reading is very, very low. Right? So you should be able to catch those low level variations, and hence we require the instrumentation amplifier to amplify the signals, and afterwards it will be converted into a digital form, and then it is sent to the digital circuit like embedded system or microcontroller unit, right? And when you may have certain digital sensors as well, which directly gives you the digital output. Now if I talk about the example of analog sensors, you may consider PT100. PT100 is a temperature sensor, gives you the output in the form of analog signal. Very similar to that, you may have this thermocouple or thermistor. All of them are producing output in analog form. This is about the temperature. If I talk about pressure, there are lot of pressure gauges which may read absolute pressure, which may read the gauge pressure, right? So there are a lot of pressure gauges as well. Like there are Borden tubes are there, C-type Borden tube, with the help of which तुम्ही जर तुमच्या ज्यावेळी व्हेकल एखादी पंक्चर होते किंवा हवा कमी होते त्यावेळी काय करता, पंक्चर काढतात, त्यांच्याकडे एक गेज असतो. व्हॉट इज ऍक्च्युअली present inside that gauge. It's just a C-type Bourdon tube, which is composed of some sort of elastic material. So when the pressure is applied to one of the fixed end, other end is tend to move, and it will indicate the pointer. It will deflect the pointer on the scale, right? So whatever pressure we apply, proportional to that pressure, the deflection is occurred on the pointer on the scale, right? So this is how Bourdon tube or pressure gauges works. There are a lot of other sensors like LVDT is there to measure the linear displacement. RVDT is there to measure the rotary movements. Tachometers are there to measure the angular speed, right? So all those sensors produces output in analog form. On the other hand, digital sensors are there which directly produces the output in digitized form. For example, rotary encoder, right? Rotary encoder is used to detect the speed of shaft. So usually what arrangement is done to detect the speed of shaft? On the shaft, they have placed uh, a circular disc having slots on that circular disc, and one side of that disc is mounted with some photo transmitter, or let's say some LED, and on the other hand of that circular disc they use the photo detector, right? And in between, the circular disc is allowed to rotate on that shaft. So when the shaft rotates, the disc mounted on that shaft ultimately starts rotating, and whenever there will be a slotted portion, the light rays will be passed through that slot, and it will be catched by photo detector, which is placed on other hand, on the other side. And whenever there will be a solid portion of that disk present in between the path of this communication, the light rays will not transfer through that solid portion, and you will not get any output on the detector. So if you check the output of that detector, you will simply find that the output of that detector is in the form of pulses, and the rate of those pulses directly proportional to the speed of that shaft encoder, speed of that shaft, right? So ultimately you are measuring the pulses, means ultimately you are measuring the frequency of pulses, and the frequency of pulses is directly proportional to the speed of revolution, right? So it directly gives you the indications in revolutions per minute. So there are many sensors which produce the output in digital form. Next component of an IoT system is communication system, right? So can someone tell me what is communication system, so that I'll talk on this communication. What is communication? I told you in last lecture. Well, let me tell you what is communication. Communication means a transfer of information from one place to another place, and that this transfer has to be a reliable. म्हणजेच काय की ट्रान्समीटरने इन्फॉर्मेशन पाठवली पण रिसिव्हरला भेटलीच नाही, असं व्हायला नको. दॅट्स वाय रिलायबल वर्ड इज ऍडेड हिअर, थ्रू विच how you can ensure the reliability. How you can ensure the reliability. How I can ensure the reliability. Now I can give you the example. See, I'm talking to you, okay? And in between I'm trying to ask you some questions, so that I can come to know that whatever is being taught is reaching to you, right? That is what a communication system, that is how the communication system works. जर तुम्हाला रिलायबल कम्युनिकेशन करायचं असेल तर यू शुड सीक द फीडबॅक फ्रॉम रिसिव्हर. म्हणजे रिसिव्हरनी काहीतरी त्याला एक्नॉलेज केलं पाहिजे, तर ट्रान्समीटरला समजेल की जी काही इन्फॉर्मेशन आपण पाठवलेली आहे इट इज रीच्ड टू रिसिव्हर सक्सेसफुली, right? That's why transmitter always seek the response from receiver after the data which is being transmitted. मग डेटा ट्रान्समिट झाला की रिसिव्हर कडून काहीतरी रिस्पॉन्स आला तर ट्रान्समिटरला it will be made aware that the information has been reached, information has been transmitted successfully. That is what acknowledgement system is. Now in a communication system, what are different types? Of course, there will be analog communication and digital communication. You have studied both this system and you are aware of those two systems very well. Apart from those two systems, analog and digital, any other type of communication system that you know? Other types are serial communication and parallel communication, right? So what is meaning of serial and what is meaning of parallel? So if I want to send some 8-bit data, I will put it on the 8 pins of the controller or processor, and all those 8 pins are connected with the receiver, and receiver may receive it in one stroke with one tick of time, right? म्हणजे मला जर 8 bits, म्हणजे if I want to send 1 byte, I will put it on the port and receiver immediately will receive the data with one tick of time, right? म्हणजे one stroke complete byte तुम्ही send करताय, that is what nothing but parallel transmission. Whereas in a serial communication, all those bits means जे काही 1 byte data आहे, D0, D1, D2, D3, so on up to D7, हा 1 byte data तुम्ही bit by bit receiverला पाठवताय. ठीक आहे? This is nothing but serial communication, right? So bit by bit data transmission is possible in serial communication, but parallel communication means you are sending a complete byte, one at a time. Means what? If I compare number of lines required for serial communication and the number of lines required for parallel communication, what is the difference? Which one is advantageous? If I compare the number of lines required, which type of communication is advantageous, serial or parallel? Which type of communication system is advantageous as far as number of lines required, number of transmission lines required? Serial is better or parallel is better? Serial communication is advantageous or parallel communication is advantageous? Can someone tell? Which communication is better, serial or parallel? Amit
Parallel.
is saying parallel. But I asked the question as far as number of lines required. बघा, जर मला एका रूम मधून दुसऱ्या रूम मध्ये कम्युनिकेशन करायचं असेल, ऑफकोर्स द पॅरलल कम्युनिकेशन इज द गुड चॉईस बिकॉज the time required to send the complete data is less in parallel communication. But think about, I want to transmit a data from Pandharpur to, let's say, to the Delhi, right? Let's say Pune, right? Is it feasible to have 8 lines from Pandharpur to Pune?
No, sir.
It's not feasible. It's very costly. It's not affordable solution. It's not an affordable. आणि हा पण विचार करा ना की तुम्ही जर 8 लाईन्स एवढ्या लांब नेल्या जशा तशा, परत टू अँड फ्रो जर कम्युनिकेशन करायचं असेल तर परत पुण्याहून पंढरपूरला 8 वेगळ्या लाईन्स आणाव्या लागतील. सो टोटल इट बिकम 16. So it's not worth solution for data transfer, right? So short distance communication, parallel communication is preferred, but for long distance communication, Serial communication is preferred, which requires only one line to send the data, and it requires another line to receive the data. That's why we sometimes call it as the two-wire communication, right? So this two-wire communication is always preferred over the parallel communication. Okay? So I hope the concept is clear. याच्याच पुढे जाऊन मी आणखी एक प्रश्न विचारतो. तुमच्याकडे आणखी एका टाईपचे कम्युनिकेशन आहेत, आणखी 2 कॅटेगरीज आहेत. त्यामध्ये कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टीमला तुम्ही वायर्ड कम्युनिकेशन पण म्हणू शकता आणि वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन असे 2 टाईप आहेत. सो हिअर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट वायर्ड कम्युनिकेशन अँड वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन. नाउ which type of communication technique is used in wireless data transfer? वायरलेस मध्ये सिरियल कम्युनिकेशन वापरतात की पॅरलल कम्युनिकेशन? फॉर एक्झाम्पल, आता माझा मोबाईल डेटा कनेक्टेड आहे त्याला, मग हा जो डेटा आहे तो सिरियली येतोय का पॅरलली येतोय? कॅन समवन रिस्पॉन्ड?
सिरियली सर.
सिरियली. नेहमी लक्षात ठेवा, जिथं जिथं वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन आहे, मग दॅट मे बी लाईक युअर this thing, mouse is interacting with your laptop. If you are having wireless Bluetooth, wireless mouse, your mobile is interacting with the outside world, it's a serial communication, serial wireless communication. रिझन सांगतो याचं काय असतं. ज्यावेळी आपण पॅरलल डेटा वायरलेसच्या माध्यमातून ट्रान्सफर करायला बघतो, त्यावेळी होतं काय, that means you are trying to transmit D0 bit, D1 bit, D0, D1, D2, D3, so on up to D7 at a time to the receiver, and receiver do not know the locations. म्हणजेच काय होणार आहे, रिसिव्हिंग एंडला तुमचा D0 बिट D7 च्या लोकेशनला जाईल, किंवा D0 बिट D2 च्या लोकेशनला जाईल, D1 बिट तिकडच्या रिसिव्हरच्या एंडला कुठेतरी D5 ला मिक्स होईल. Right? So just to avoid the mixing, serially the data is being transmitted. D0 पाठवा, तो रिसीव्ह झाला की D1 पाठवा, तो रिसीव्ह झाला की D2 पाठवा, D2 रिसीव्ह झाला की D3, so on. Right? So whenever we talk about wireless communication, it must involve serial protocols. Right? Now, what are different serial protocols that you know? Tell me the different serial protocols and then we will stop here. Tell me the different serial protocols. Have you heard about I2C? Inter-integrated circuit is one of the serial protocols. Then have you heard about SPI, serial peripheral interface? Then have you heard about UART? Have you heard about UART? Right? USB is another serial protocol. JTAG interface, right? So there are a lot of serial protocols, and there are many devices which are making different kinds of use of those standards. Like just to summarize, let me tell you the serial protocols once again: UART, UART, I2C, SPI, USB, JTAG. Right? So these are all serial interfaces. We will talk on those maybe in the next lecture. So for now, let us stop it here. Just check whether you have mentioned your roll number in the chat box. If you have mentioned it, you are allowed to leave the meeting and join the next lecture.